Quantumscape has started shipping samples to customers for testing, which is paving the way for the company to potentially launch its solid state battery technology with the customer beginning in 2026. That was great news for Quantumscape stock investors. But is the stock a buy, hold, or a sell? That's the question I'll answer in this video. Looking at the company's prospects, looking at how much cash it has, and the strategy and the potential opportunity to determine if investors should start now and buy Quantumscape stock. Let's get into it. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. All right, so I purposely pulled up this screen, which is a chart of Quantumscape's revenue history. And it says no data to display because Quantumscape is a pre-revenue company. They haven't generated any revenue yet. They're researching the solid-state battery technology, which electric vehicle companies are absolutely desperate to have. Right now, electric vehicles are significantly more inconvenient and they cost more money, which makes it a difficult situation for car companies in trying to sell these to customers. What's the selling point, right? We're going to give you something that's inconvenient and it costs more. Please buy it. It's not working very well. And so these companies are desperate for a breakthrough in technology that will help customer adoption of electric vehicles. Right now, outside of China, right? China customers, they are adopting electric vehicles at a much faster pace than the rest of the world. The rest of the world, especially in the United States, less than 1 out of 10 people are choosing an electric vehicle. And that's with all of the government incentives that's going into the industry. Imagine what organic customer demand is or would be without all of those government incentives. Most people don't want these. They don't make sense for most people. A small percentage of the population, it makes sense for, right? If you have home charging and you have solar panels that you can charge your electric vehicles overnight and be on your way if you have a relatively short commute. But for the rest of the population, it doesn't make very much sense. But with Quantumscape solid state technology, which the company said could charge your electric vehicle from 10% to 80% in as little as 12 minutes, that closes the gap significantly, and that makes it a little less inconvenient, right? 12 minutes is still a lot more than it takes to fill up your car with gas. But at least it's not as bad, right? It's not as inconvenient as it is today. So manufacturers are desperately awaiting Quantumscapes and other companies that are developing innovative technologies for electric vehicle batteries to have some breakthrough that unlocks demand for this category, because as it is now, it is not it's not viable. And that's why you're seeing so many electric vehicle companies go bankrupt, go out of business. You're seeing the big car manufacturers scale back their electric vehicle plans because they're realizing the market is not there for this type of product. Hopefully it will be, right? It would be great if this technology develops and the world can move closer towards renewable energy. It's just not there yet. And it's unfortunate that the situation with fiscal policy over the previous 4 years was trying to really push this down people's throats when the ecosystem wasn't ready for it yet, right? Uh, it perhaps caused more damage in trying to rush this technology out and into people's hands before it had time to mature, before it had time to go through the regular market cycle for adopting new technology. And so this is part of that regular market cycle where you have companies make progress on innovation, which then helps to unlock more customer demand because you've had a breakthrough on innovation that makes it a better value when comparing to other options that are available. So in the trailing 12-month period, the company negative 274 million cash flow from operations. And since they're pre-revenue, I'm always concerned with how much cash flow from operations they're going through, and then comparing it with the balance sheet to see how much runway they have. At the introduction of the video, I talked about how 2026 is when they hope to launch with a customer and start generating revenue. So I want to know that the company at least has enough capital to make itself survive until 2026. And so it can go back to shareholders and ask for more money, which it has done sometimes. It hasn't diluted shareholders as much as would be expected for a company that's pre-revenue, because a pre-revenue company, by definition, needs to get cash from investors in order to fund its operations until it can start generating revenue. And so Quantumscape, in my opinion, has managed its capital relatively well. It hasn't been wasteful, in my opinion. It's been prudent and it's been making progress on its technology, enough so that it attracted an investment from VW Group. And VW has also agreed to onboard, or through a joint facility, a partnership facility, to take on board the manufacturing capital that's required. So that's another good news, a good sign for Quantumscape, is that it's made enough progress that it's signed on VW to help the company with manufacturing. And the reason that's great is because Quantumscape is already undertaking an extremely risky endeavor in the research and development spending to develop this technology. If they had to also invest capital for the manufacturing, that would just be risk on top of risk, which would increase the riskiness of the business exponentially, which is not what investors of this company want, right? When you're already at such a high level of risk, reducing risk becomes a critical strategy for management, which they were able to secure with that deal with VW. And so they don't need as much capital now. They just can focus on the research and development of the technology. Once it's ready for mass production, then the partnership with VW, they can put up the capital, and then Quantumscape can take royalties or licensing fees for each one of its units or each battery produced with its technology. That's an asset-light business model. Those can be lucrative in the long run. So the company has $911 million in cash. And as we saw earlier, they went through $274 million. So let's say they're going through about $25 million per month. Just a rough estimate, right? And they have 910 million. So they can go through, 3 years of losing 250 million in cash flow from operations, and that'll be 100, that would total 750 million, and that would still leave 160 million in cash. So they've got, a comfortable runway here to develop the technology and get it ready for mass market adoption. So the business, it's on sound footing, so long as the milestones in the development of the technology continue progressing as well as they have been. So Quantumscape stock price is down over 73% over the last 3 years. And over these last 3 years, I've never rated the stock as a buy. I've had it rated as a hold and told investors that it seems too early for me to jump into this business. It's still too speculative for a novice like me when it comes to understanding the research and development that's going into developing this solid state battery technology. That's where I feel you need great expertise in order to understand Quantumscape's business and buy it at this point. Right. So for me, since I don't have that expertise in that technology, I wouldn't feel comfortable jumping in at this stage. I will wait to see the technology being developed, start to see orders coming in, start to see the potential, see the unit economics of the business. How much are they getting in terms of royalties, and how much are the costs? What's the operating expense structure going to look like for this company? Do they have a next generation technology they'll be working on after they develop the current technology? Right. So I need to know all of those things before I can feel comfortable investing in Quantumscape stock. So for now, I'm keeping the stock rated as a hold, and I'm updating that recommendation today, March 10th, 2025. Hey everyone, I'm excited to announce that my book is finally available for sale. I've been working on it for more than a year now, so I'm really excited to finally share this with you now. It goes through my framework for evaluating stocks. Some of you often ask why I like this stock or why I like the other stock, and this framework provides you the things that I look at when I'm evaluating stocks. I've added the link in the description below.